الله أكبر الله أكبر.
In this week's Friday sermon, Huzoor Eda Talab bin Aziz continued on the series of the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and specifically the recount of the life of Hazrat Usman radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who was the third of the rightly guided caliphs. Huzoor mentioned that this was the last recount of Hazrat Usman's life, inshallah, and from the future weeks we would start on the life of Hazrat Umar radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Now over to Humayun Jahangir Khan Sahab, who will give us some further insight into this sermon.
So as mentioned, that this was the end of the chapter of Hazrat Usman Rizal, who related by His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed, may Allah be his helper, which is obviously is quite sad because we were being given so much knowledge from beloved Huzoor and so many facts which I myself and I'm sure many others didn't know. So it really increased my love for him. And I'll read one of the things which Huzoor said about Hazrat Usman later on, which really makes us realize how important his role was in Islam and for the protection of Islam as well in that time. But before that, Huzoor mentioned a few things about the love the Holy Prophet ﷺ had and respect he had for Hazrat Usman anhu. And one of the things was, which is quite incredible, was during a time of one of the funerals, the Holy Prophet ﷺ didn't actually lead that funeral prayer. And so people asked him, why didn't you lead this prayer? Because you always do it. You always lead the funeral prayers. And he said that I didn't lead the funeral prayer of this particular individual because he had enmity towards Hazrat Usman radhiyallahu anhu. And as we know from the previous Friday sermons, how much respect, when Hazrat Usman radhiyallahu anhu used to walk in the room, the Holy Prophet ﷺ would stand up and show modesty to him and show respect to him. And for him to not lead the funeral prayer in this particular instance really shows how he protected Hazrat Usman's honor in every single way. In other places, some facts which Huzoor was throwing into his Friday sermon, which which maybe people didn't know, was about the two azans that happen, which is so normal for us now. But during the Holy Prophet's time, there was only one. But because Islam was growing so rapidly, and the numbers of Muslims were increasing, and they didn't have the speaker system back then. So the purpose of the first azan, so the first azan would only happen, one azan would only happen, when the Imam would stand at the pulpit, which is considered the second azan now. But because there were so many Muslims, the first azan would be called before so that people would know that Jummah was about to start. Which would give them enough time to come to read the Sunnah prayers, and then the second azan would happen. So that again was another interesting fact. Another interesting fact, in line with his characteristics, was how many number of times he related sayings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which surprisingly is extremely low. When you look at other companions like Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu, Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu anha, extremely high. But with Hazrat Usman Rizal, who was only 146 times. And some may say, look, this shows that he wasn't true or he wasn't close to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But in fact, this again highlights how careful and how much he tried to protect the honor and word of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that he didn't want to exaggerate anything. He didn't want to show any mistakes in line with what the Holy Prophet ﷺ said. So those 146 sayings that he has said were said with extreme caution, and this goes again in line with his modesty and with his humility as well. And so all of these things make us realize what station he had, and every Khalifa, this is why we say Khalifa waqt, the Khalifa of the time, and that means that everything which is to do with his characteristics of that time is the right moment for him to be appointed as Khalifa. And so during that time of extreme enmity, extreme rebellion within Islam against him and against many others who led Islam during that time, needed someone with extreme modesty, extreme humility, and extreme care for Islam's protection, for it to allow it to grow and for to allow it to prosper. And that's why Hazrat Masih Maud said something extremely beautiful, that if you really want to attain righteousness, if you want to become a true believer, then you have to believe in with full faith and full certainty in the four rightly guided Khulafa Rashideen, i.e. Hazrat Abu Bakr, Razillahu anhu, Hazrat Umar, Razillahu anhu, Hazrat Usman, Razillahu anhu, and Hazrat Ali, Razillahu anhu. And I was actually talking about this with my Khudam just yesterday, about how natural it is for us just to believe in all four of them, because it's written in stone. We believe in it right from birth, and we're taught about it. But if you look around other Muslims and other groups within Islam, they make such a fuss about it. They right from birth they say, okay, don't believe in Hazrat Umar, don't believe in Hazrat Abu Bakr, only take Hazrat Ali as the rightly guided one. And other people say different things. Other people say don't believe in any of them. So Hazrat Masih Maud, for him to come after all of this, hate and enmity against the companions, the closest companions of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to rejuvenate. This is why we say he came as a rejuvenator, as someone who, as a mujaddid, to refresh and revive the true teachings of Islam. This is exactly one of them, that we must believe in all four of them, because they were, as Huzoor mentioned in the Friday sermon, they were the door, the gate for others to follow Islam. So all the teachings which were given to them was then spread out to the rest of the world. So that's why these four particular khulafa of the Holy Prophet ﷺ are so important. And with that, Huzoor ended the chapter of Hazrat Usman and said that next we will start the next chapter with Hazrat Umar Rizallahu anhu, which again is mouth-watering. We know his personality and his role within Islam, so it'll be really nice to hear those again, and also new things as well, which Huzoor will definitely present to us. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah, and I absolutely agree about the sadness that we were feeling when we were told that this would be the last of the recount of life of Hazrat Usman, and his life cannot be de-emphasized in any way, shape or form. The extracts that Huzoor has provided us and the stories of his character and his life should definitely be pondered on, and like you said, Humayun Sahib, we'll go back and we will look through those recounts and read through them and watch them again from the words of Hazrat Ameerul Momineen, and we urge all the viewers of this program to do that as well, to really emphasize and re-establish what the life of Hazrat Usman was really about. Towards the end of the sermon, Huzoor Aziz had a couple of announcements.
आज भी मैं एक तो ये है कि एक अल-इस्लाम ने कुरान सर्च की नई वेबसाइट का पहला वर्जन तैयार किया है, holyquran.io. ये वेबसाइट अल-इस्लाम से अलहदा देखी जा सकती है. किसी भी सूरत, आयत, लफ्ज़ या मज़मून को अरबी, अंग्रेज़ी या उर्दू में एक जदीद सर्च इंजन के ज़रिए तलाश किया जा सकता है और सर्च नताइज को अहमदी और गैर अहमदी तराजम के साथ भी देखा जा सकता है. हर आयत के साथ उसकी तफसीर, मज़ामीन और मुतलका आयात देखी जा सकती हैं. मज़ीद मवाद पर भी काम जारी है और इंशाअल्लाह अगला हिस्सा इसका जलसा सालाना UK 2021 तक तैयार किया जाएगा इंशाअल्लाह. इसके अलावा अल-इस्लाम वेबसाइट पर कुरान पढ़ने, सुनने और सर्च की वेबसाइट readquran.app का भी नया दीदा ज़ेब वर्जन तैयार कर लिया गया है, जिसमें अंग्रेज़ी तफासीर के साथ तफसीर सग़ीर के नोट्स, अंग्रेज़ी लफ्ज़ बलफ्ज़ तर्जुमा, मज़ामीन का इंडेक्स और बहुत से मुफीद इज़ाफ़े जो रोज़मर्रा की तिलावत से कुरान में मुफीद होंगे शामिल किए गए हैं. अल्लाह ताला से दुआ है कि ये प्रोजेक्ट कुरान करीम की खूबसूरत तालीम को दुनिया में फैलाने का बायस बने और अहबाब जमात भी इनसे भरपूर फ़ायदा हासिल करने वाले हों. इसके साथ ही मैं पाकिस्तान के अहमदियों के लिए भी दुआ की दरख्वास्त करता हूँ. अल्लाह ताला उनके भी हालात बदले, उनके लिए आसानियाँ पैदा करे. इसी तरह अलजायर के अहमदियों के लिए भी अल्लाह ताला उनको भी इस बात कदम अता करे और उनके हालात में तब्दीली पैदा करे. اب میں بعض جنازوں وفات یافتگان کا ذکر کروں گا، جن کے جنازے بھی پڑھاؤں گا۔ اب جو بہت ساری درخواستیں آتی ہیں تو مشکل ہے کہ ہر ایک کا ذکر کیا جائے یہاں اور پڑھایا جائے جنازہ۔ بہرحال کچھ کا میں ذکر کر رہا ہوں، باقی میں نے اپنے ان میں شامل کر لیے ہیں، ان کو بغیر نام لیے ہی شامل ہیں وہ۔ اللہ تعالیٰ ان سب کے سے مغفرت و رحم کو سلوک فرمائے۔ بہرحال جن کا ذکر کرنا ہے وہ میں اب پڑھ دیتا ہوں۔ ان میں مکرم محمد صادق صاحب درگا رام پوری صاحب ہیں۔ محمد صادق صاحب درگا رام پوری، یہ ڈھاکہ بنگلہ دیش کے ہیں۔ 14 نومبر 2020 کو 75 سال کی عمر میں وفات پا گئے۔ انا للہ و انا الیہ راجعون۔ اللہ تعالیٰ مرحوم سے مغفرت و رحم کو سلوک فرمائے اور ان سب لوگوں کے لوائقین کو صبر اور حوصلہ عطا فرمائے اور ان کی نیکیاں جاری رکھنے کی توفیق عطا فرمائے۔